We're officially in the second half of the NFL season, so we got to make it count. We're still going to do what we always do here and try to make the most of it, looking at projections and ownership. Of course, going to optimize some lineups, sim some lineups on both the solver and stochastic. We're going to hop over to Underdog as well, hit the Battle Royale scene on there. Let me flash this one real fast. Make me feel good after I fucking got smoked yesterday. I'm also going to build a pick 'em here. Who are the must-plays of Week 10? Let's find out right now. I don't know why I'm fucking so high energy. I was not feeling high energy before the stream started. But let's get into it. And of course, I hope you guys all had a piece of the big breakout we saw yesterday, the one that everybody was talking about in the chat, people leaving comments about it. Jermaine Burton, wow, what a breakout, right? He was the week before last, he was going to be a key part of the game plan. And now we saw it come to fruition. But honestly, he had a shot. But had to rub that in. Jamar Chase, though, I got to tell you guys, that game environment, that whole thing, oh boy, was that bad for my underdog advance rates. Oh, we are talking like 10 entries that were placed fucking gone. So we're gonna be digging out of that hole all weekend / the last 4 weeks of the season. So I hope you guys benefit from the Jamar Chase thing. I know our guy Mathology was posting on the VIP Discord. He's top 5 right now out of all the BBM scores. Unfortunately for him, no regular season prizes for BBM this year. But shout out to Mathology. Of course, he's been on the stream before. Our resident horn dog, one of the OG horn dogs. Of course, Tyler has modernized the brand, but shout out Mathology. He's done a great job with a fucking weird ass team. But it does have Jaden Daniels on it. And Terry McLaurin, and Mathology said that was thanks to me. So I'll take the victories where I can get them at this point. Top projected players, though. Yeehaw. I feel like did I take a theatrical pill today? Alvin Kamara. And to be clear, I don't take anything besides, the old so I don't know. But maybe it's the bright lights. I feel like the lights are a little bit brighter today. So hopefully that's making me look my star power coming across more. Alvin Kamara, top projected player in the week. Check down city potentially because there's nobody left for New Orleans at all. And that receiving core, and even Cedric Wilson, who I know you guys are the biggest fans of. I, of course, I would say touted a couple times the best ball season, but did mention he's basically the number 3 receiver for a while. Bub Means is on IR. He can't come back in and help these guys out. Olave concussed. Shaheed out for the year. Really nothing else left there besides Taysom Hill, Tipton, and Cedric Wilson. So Cedric Wilson, I don't think he has a shot not to play this week because his shoulder's banged up. But basically, point being is like they don't even have Cedric Wilson. At this point, Alvin Kamara is basically all they have. The issue, price tag up a little bit, but Alvin Kamara, top projected play in the week, and I do know Nerdy Tenor. One of the best streams, and honestly, I got to give the full credit, Davis Maddock. A lot of his content I've really been enjoying lately, so full shout out to Davis, who is a Splash Play alum as well. They're definitely more of a Pete booking. I don't think Davis likes me. I don't know why. I feel like we should get along well. But really great streams with him and Brick and Nerdy Tenor every week, doing DFS sims for the Battle Royales and kind of talking through it and all of that. And Alvin Kamara, I think, according to Nerdy Tenor, looked like one of the best plays of the week alongside Justin Jefferson for Battle Royale. So we'll see if we can get that in the Battle Royale coming up. But really a great video that Davis does every week with those guys. And I like Brick a lot. I have not seen a lot of Nerdy Tenor content, but if you want to get, honestly, if you want to play well in Battle Royales, I would watch that video. I'd watch Pete's video that he drops later today at like 4:30, I think, for the Deposit Kingdom, where he does the Battle Royale preview video that he does. Those are really the two things. And Badge Bros, of course, do a great job every day. Of course, Nez and John Warner. But, really those two, I would say, and then pick your Badge Bros episode. Follow your heart. Jaden Daniels, the number 2 projected player in the week. Jaden Daniels, I think an interesting contrarian play this week. So Pittsburgh, people are going to see it on the DK app. They open it up. They're going to see the red DVP matchup there. They're not going to want to go there. People fear Pittsburgh's team overall. Pittsburgh still really not blitzing as much this year, not getting pressure as much. And that's something, too, I saw where basically Pittsburgh plays a lot of one high safety stuff. Jaden Daniels, one of the best QBs against one high safety play overall. And I know that stat, like that comes up a lot lately. And I don't know if it's always like a perfect one to work off of, especially for receiver splits. I feel like that's been wrong a lot. But I would say for Jaden Daniels, I'm going to play him a little bit this week. And granted, I do it every DFS week, and I'm a sucker for Jaden, but I think the fact that nobody's going to be on him, this is a competitive game. These kind of games should be the ones where you do see Jefferson kind of push it up a little bit more. Or see Daniels rather push it up a little bit more because of the fact that it's a competitive game, and Russell Wilson, frankly, should still be able to pass on the Commanders, even if they get Lattimore in. Frankly, I don't think Lattimore is as good as he was. That's the first thing I'll say. Number 2 would be, even if they got Lattimore in, he's not going to be all the way there. So, like, the defense is still not that great for Washington, even though they've gotten better results lately. So, I think the push-pull is going to be there for Jaden, like the low ownership. Price tag's a little bit tough, though, at this point. Justin Jefferson, $8,800 salary for him. He gets the nut match against Jacksonville. The question is, can Jacksonville do enough on their part to make Minnesota pass? Because Minnesota certainly be happy to run it out. Jefferson, one of the highest projected players in the week. The salary, though, will not make him as chalky as the man in the thumbnail, Aaron Jones. We'll see that more coming up in a moment. Breece Hall, a 20.9 projection for him. He's the number 4 guy overall. $7,600 salary for him. Matchup against Arizona, that is, despite what Caleb Williams showed you, actually a pretty good matchup overall. The issue with Breece Hall, as I've mentioned a few times, he gets bell cow volume overall, shy of, I think, 20 intended touches a game. Let me see if that's still holding up right now. In 19.6 intended touches a game. The issue, though, is he's only getting 2.2 red zone intended touches a game, 0.9 inside the 10-yard line. That's not really elite bell cow usage, so that's why sometimes he does fall a little bit short, and I think, especially when he's chalk. In this kind of situation, though, I could see going his way at less ownership than he'd probably have normally, given the fact he has busted. He's busted at least once as chalk, but maybe a couple times this year. And the most recent time, it was like a huge bust. So I think you can make the case to go here as a pivot to Kamara, even though Kamara, on his face, a much better PPR play. And Josh Allen, your number 5 projected guy overall, 20.6, going against Indianapolis, is soft defense. Them and Jacksonville, equally soft. Charles saying, we like you. Thank you. I don't know what spurred that comment, but I'll take it. Hello, fuck corporate jobs indeed. And busted at least once. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that. That's probably the issue with corporate jobs. They don't enjoy you saying that quite as often if I had to guess. Let's go position by position real fast here just to get the overview on these. Top QBs overall, Jaden Daniels talked about him. Josh Allen talked about him. Hard to find a natural stack partner for Josh Allen, but no Keon Coleman theoretically makes it a little bit easier. Still, though, Amari Cooper limited practice this week, so hopefully he's going to play, but need him out there, you think, if not Shakir, Kincaid, or really all that's left that are actually viable targets. Brock Purdy at number 3. Honestly, he should be the play that I think would be the highest played overall relative to an optimizer and stuff like that. $6,500 salary, easy targets to go with him as well. Guys like Kittle, who should have a concentrated offensive role that has been there all year for him with the guys rotating in and out of the lineup. Now no Ayuk there. He's going to be good every week against, again, Buckner's defense is really not good in the pass game defensively. And then also Debo, still an interesting play as well, even though Juwan Jennings, also a viable play. For Brock Purdy, though, it's all upside because you could stack him a bunch of different ways, and I think Purdy can legit hit a bunch of ways, even with McCaffrey coming back in. All right, well, we'll see. Hopefully full workload for him. Jalen Hurts, number 4 QB overall. He's, to me, been completely on the right pathway after a start that I think not up to his standards. Seems like he's grasping the offense better. We had the bye. After that, it's also looked better. For Jalen Hurts, I feel like for him overall, he's one of the best QB plays, but projections haven't fully caught up in it. The issue with Dallas is so bad they can absolutely boat race him. But if they do boat race him, Jalen Hurts probably is a big part of it. I think Saquon, to me, the more appealing play. Add him for 2+ touchdowns. My fantasy points column, which I should link here because I was trying to promote it, even though it's tough because I hate being paywalled. I think the column is good, but I don't know if it's paywall good, especially based on the results so far this year. But check it out on fantasy points. Promo code SPAGS25. You're going to get 25% off all their premium content and data. And their data is really good, too. If you don't want to use something like my data sheet here that I give away for being a member, Fantasy Points data, another great way to look at stuff and chop things up as you want to. I would just warn against chopping things up too much. Sam Darnold at number 5, 3.2x value for him. He'll probably come a good amount with Jefferson, probably with Aaron Jones as well. Darnold, one of the better value QBs here. I'd prefer Brock Purdy, but Darnold more of an optimizer play. Any Rodgers versus Arizona? I don't really see it. So Garrett Wilson keeps getting there, but it feels like Devontae Adams is due for a big game. I also am just not the biggest on Aaron Rodgers on a slate where you have so many good options. Aaron Rodgers is projected to be the, number 10 overall QB here, number 11. I'm not crazy about it, but he's certainly a viable enough play. I take him over Justin Herbert. Herbert, I think people are going to buy into the pass rate of rotation stuff. In reality, though, they're going to pass until they don't have to pass against Tennessee, which shouldn't be very long if Will Levis is starting. So, I would take Rodgers over Herbert, which projections would anyway. I would take Rodgers over Caleb, I think, though he's back home. He has had some really prominent home road splits so far. It would be hard for me to play Rodgers, but I wouldn't begrudge you for doing it. It's a better way to put it. I don't think he's a bad play. Love my data sheet. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate that. That is the thing I use for myself for really everything I do, whether I'm doing videos or I'm doing written content. That's the thing for me. Even if I weren't, I'd probably just use it for gambling anyway. So for that, I hope it adds value. That's one of the perks here. Of course, if you join down below, for $4.99. I put those out every week. And the video after this one is just a premium only video where I go game by game with my data sheet and show you what I'm seeing so far for the week. Your top projected RBs for the week: Alvin Kamara at 24.5, Breece Hall 20.9. Talked about those guys. Aaron Jones 20.6. The value metric here is going to be the thing that drives him to be the chalk play right now on DraftKings, it seems. Saquon Barkley 20.4. You are paying up a premium here to get that projection. I think he exceeds that projection. Dallas is not a good team. Saquon, though, I worry again. He just broke, well, he didn't break the slate last week because he wasn't in the winning lineup. And a lot of different tournaments out there. I'm sure he wasn't some. Because there was enough other guys that got there. That said, in terms of getting there against Dallas, like Dallas is really going to have nothing to put up a fight. Even CeeDee Lamb being back out there, maybe a little bit better. But even if Dallas stays competitive, like it's not like they're going to have to pass so much because Dallas is so far ahead. So to me, for Saquon Barkley, I think a really good play this week. And again, 2+ touchdowns. I think it was at plus 255 yesterday. Still a good bet to take that, I think, on DraftKings. Christian McCaffrey coming back in 19.5. I'd have a hard time taking him at this point. They've got enough pass game weapons. They should kind of slow roll him back in, I would think, just to be safe. Can't imagine he gets that full crush of work he got last year. So he's priced at a fine enough rate. I think he probably shaves a little bit off Saquon, but as a tournament option, I get it. I just personally wouldn't want to absorb that risk too much. Got my Battle Royale this week. Stay golden. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that very much. Charles, a member too. Thank you for that one. Spags, a freak in the data sheets. I try my best. I'm obsessive about data stuff. I was looking at NBA a lot this morning because I think it's a really fun NBA slate, which of course we'll be covering later today on the Splash Play NBA channel. If you guys have not made your way over there, check it out. It's been a good bunch of videos overall so far. And every day, I think I get most of the plays right. So we'll see. Jamal Murray, though, really important one because if he's questionable right now, if he doesn't play, he is going to make it a big day for Jokic again for me. Would I trade Brian Thomas Jr. for Debo, have CMC? I would. Yeah, in a heartbeat. That's yes, immediately. Take that trade immediately in every possible way, yes. CMC minus 240 something for anytime TD. I think he'll get a TD, to be clear. I don't think he gets 2 TDs and 10 targets. I think is where I'd land with that. But like if Saquon busts somehow, if the pass game just dominates, a bunch of tush pushes for Jalen Hurts, then play that outcome with CMC, I think. Like it's hard to pay that price tag, but Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown with CMC, that's your way to get direct Saquon leverage, I would think. If you wanted to play CMC, but I just don't think the ceiling's there this week. And the price tag's high enough. Jefferson, your top projected receiver. You can see here, nobody a great value metric, so receiver is going to be a little bit of pick your own poison. Josh Downs probably the closest. Lad McConkey, I believe, going to be very chalky as well, based on the ownership I took a quick look at. CeeDee Lamb, your number 2 projected receiver, though. Big gap between him and Justin Jefferson, 21.4 compared to 17.6. CeeDee Lamb's target share with Cooper Rush should be relatively flat. Philadelphia also defensively kind of Ravensy, where they're not actually a good defense. And because the team on the offensive side is good enough, you do kind of end up passing more naturally. So don't hate CeeDee Lamb as a pivot to Jefferson in a week where Aaron Jones is going to be chalky. So play the RB, could play Jefferson with it, or you could just take a little bit of a discount, go to CeeDee Lamb, try to get the upside there. A.J. Brown, again, I think a good play against Dallas. Dallas can't defend anything right now, falling apart at the seams as well as a team. So A.J. Brown looks okay. Drake London, limited in practice, should be going against New Orleans. I don't think New Orleans is going to push enough for him to get there. Still good value metric. Ownership probably down a little bit for him after what he did last week with getting hurt. People just don't like playing the guy after he didn't really get going for them the previous week or get off from, whatever floats their boat. For Drake London, would think he's probably a little bit owned as a result of that. So he's an interesting play, but it's not really a priority because New Orleans, hard for them to hang in this game. Josh Downs going against Buffalo is a little bit tough. Downs with Flacco, though, has clearly been a really strong play, so I get that one, number 5. A salary coming up, though, at $6,200. It's not quite where it was before. Again, Lad versus Tennessee. I think that can happen, but I'm just going to point it out. I just really don't think they're going to pass much against Tennessee because it's not really – it should be a necessity thing. They should be able just to run the ball, have a few plays overall. And granted, again, they have been above expectation in terms of pass rate in neutral situations lately, have the Chargers. But I don't buy Lad as chalk. We'll see what happens with that. Anything else to look at here? Tight end. That's what we got to look at. Duh. Your top tight ends right now. Travis Kelce. Okay value on him. 15.4 projection at a $6K salary. Trey McBride. 13.8 projection from Stochastic at $5,700. Cade Otton, of course, not a lot of receivers left for Tampa Bay. Looks like McMillan, Shepard, and Mike Evans might be out this week again. Shepard being added on is a new thing. For Cade Otton, he's going to get a lot of work. The issue is like the Tampa Bay just get boat raced by the Niners. At a certain point, Baker's going to run out of ways to do this, keep cobbling things together. But Tampa Bay right now, I don't think a crazy dog. Yeah, 6.5-point dogs at home. That's still a one-score game, so it's not really gotten that bad for them. Obviously, home field helping that out a little bit. But yeah, Cade Otton definitely still in play, even with the price tag coming up. George Kittle projects, honestly, not as well as I would have thought, but having Debo and Jennings back in there and Pearsall putting up one good game, not anything crazy, but just shy of 10 fantasy points, I believe, in PPR. For Kittle, that's probably a big part of that. So I think he's a good tournament play here at 5,800. Price tags come up a little bit, but I think he can beat out Kelsey and a lot of different outcomes. Kincaid at number 5 here. Having no Keon Coleman helps him out a little bit. If he were to not have Amari again, that'd probably help him out even more. Kincaid, good match against Indianapolis, rather. Again, too much basketball in my brain. But for Kincaid, not an exciting play here. I'd rather have Kittle, rather have Otton. McBride, I could go either way with him and Kincaid. Kelsey, I'd rather have. Just not crazy about Kincaid to spot. How does Mac Jones affect pass catchers' fantasy value for Jacksonville? Where's the Jacksonville total at as of this morning? The total's down to 18.5, so I'd say a good amount in terms of your touchdown expectation, if nothing else. I think he can do something here. Like, I think it's unfair to assume that Mac Jones is totally dead, given the fact that New England itself is dead. I don't think it's fair to put all of that at his feet. And frankly, Trevor Lawrence has not been that great. I mean, his catchable ball rate's been 61%, which is towards the lower end of the league. So it's not like a high bar to pass. It might not be as bad as people think, but like you're taking on more risk now. So like for that guy who wanted to trade like Brian Thomas for Debo, like, yeah, in a heartbeat, because you're taking less risk. You're taking on a Niners team, by the way, that needs to start winning a lot of games to make the playoffs. They're not as well positioned as they've been in years past. Whereas Jacksonville, like, they're going the wrong way. And Brian Thomas has shown so much that at a certain point, you just might not play him anymore. He could play the whole year and just put up gaudy, kind of garbage-timey stats. But if the QB play gets worse, like, you're just taking on a lot of risk with the Jags right now. Hey, YouTube, sometimes live stream paid subscription, they still show a bunch of commercials. Hey, I'm sorry. I just pick the middle option on YouTube always. And sometimes they show more, sometimes they show less. I honestly recommend YouTube Premium a lot. I pay for that because basically all the podcasts I listen to or shows I have on YouTube, I'll like lock my phone and you can't do that easily otherwise. So I recommend YouTube Premium, but obviously I am biased because that does, I think it gives us more revenue. Might not. Who fucking knows? Defenses, because I know people care about it, even though I don't. I'll just look at them real fast. Chiefs D, 9.2 projection, decent value. Bears D against New England. Drake May is going to drop back a lot. Can make some mistakes. Drake May can also play him in that game, so that's kind of a fun. Honestly, I think Chicago has a decent shot of going 0-2 against the other stud QBs in the draft, and it would not be a big surprise to me. Chargers, 8.7 projection, not the greatest value, but I do think they're a strong play against Levis. Eagles, 8.4x value, strong play as well. A little bit high price at 3,500, but cheaper than the Chargers. Bills D, 7.7 projection. There you go. Let's look at ownership next. Then we'll hop into the world of optimizers and UTR's projections up top first. Share this tab. Let's load this. All right. We got Aaron Jones, 36% projected ownership right now on DraftKings from Stochastic. And again, this data is going to move around over the course of the weekend. Check it out for yourself. Link in the description. Get 15% off with the promo code SPLASH at Stochastic. So please do that. Of course, it does support the show directly as well. And I could use that support because YouTube is not YouTube for this kind of content where I'm just really appealing mostly to myself and hopefully you guys. So we're not expanding at the rate you need to make that big YT money. Alvin Kamara, 35%. Glad McConkey, 24%. Will Disley, 23%. So you're going to get fucking double stacks of the Chargers in a game where Tennessee is going to not push them at all. I would really be shocked if they did, but that's crazy. But wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. It's not a good, like, this price for Disley is not bad. I get it. I just don't see how that game script works. I would say J.K. Dobbins gains and appeal infinitely when you see that stuff. And frankly, Quentin Johnson too. Josh Downs, 23% ownership for him. That's how it goes. Splashlight content's the best. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate that. Appreciate your positive vibes here. Other low-owned guys here, guys under 10%. McCaffrey under 10%. Barkley projected under 10. I'm not sold on Barkley being under 10. People love Saquon way too much, and they know Dallas is bad. It's a total at right now. Philly, 7-point favorite on the road. Not the highest total in the world at 25.3. I think Saquon's 15 to 20. I don't think it's a bad 15 to 20, but I think he's closer to 15 to 20. Cortland Sutton under 10. Hopkins coming off of his game, 5,300 still because the salaries were set before the Monday night game. Would have a hard time with him versus Patrick Surtain, but and I don't care about cornerback matchups, as I make pretty clear here. But also Denver's defense good. Hard to chase Hopkins at that price tag. He might be a little bit higher owned though because they just saw Monday Night Football and they're going to want to play him. George Pickens, I think an interesting play here under 10%. Where's McLaurin at? McLaurin under 4. Jaden's still at 9. All right. They're projecting Jaden. I thought people were going to be spooked. People like Jaden, right? Do people like Jaden as much as I do? Because I think against Pittsburgh, I'm not sure. Yeah. See, that's the thing is I don't think he's going to struggle. His total's still 24. His total's like basically where it was against the Giants. Like Jaden is going to beat any matchup. I think so. I don't think he's this highly owned. I think people think like Eddie thinks. No disrespect to Eddie, but I think that's the chalk. So I don't think Jaden gets to 9. But still, the stack, the combo there, getting under 10% Pickens, under 10%, under 5% Terry. I think this is where they push it a little bit more. You get more of a Ravens kind of aggressive offense as opposed to one that kind of sits back. That would be my hope if you're playing Jaden this week, and I will. Okay, there's that bias. And Jaden's so good. Look, Jaden, I think Jaden is live to make a real run in the playoffs. Jaden has top 5 odds to like make the playoffs right now, or the Commanders do, obviously. They're coming along, and the markets are really, I think, going along with it. Even the sharp markets, which are the ones you really want to watch out for. Raheem Jarrett, 3,600. I'll highlight him here because he has gotten targeted at a pretty high rate overall. Kind of fell off of a cliff last game, but it did for Ryan Miller as well. If you don't get Shepard out there, they just have to throw to somebody, and Jarrett has been an okay target earner. So kind of interesting at 3,600. Patriots D at 2,500 coming up a good amount against Caleb. I get that. That's an appealing one to go to at this point. Again, Caleb, though, home road splits have been prominent so far. Keenan Allen at 5,400. I think he's an interesting pivot to maybe some ownership congregating on DeAndre Hopkins. Caleb, though, the bounce back here at 6%. Wouldn't hate that. DJ Moore, narrative streak going against him with him walking off the field last week, but he's certainly an interesting play overall. The ceiling at 5% ownership is always going to be there. Darnell Mooney gets to New Orleans. Got to question the ceiling here, but he has been the guy. They don't really have to have a competitive game for Mooney to get there. He could just get there by having a few big plays. I would still think it's more of a Bijan game, but Mooney wouldn't mind that. Got a lot of options down here. Bo Nix, going to have to scrap against KC. He's up to 6K salary overall, but only 3% ownership. He has had a tangible ceiling. Not a crazy play. Mason Tipton, one of the few receivers left. These guys, Wilson and Tipton, somebody can produce here. Wilson has been a guy who has spiked before in Miami and in Dallas, but he's been the last receiver left standing. I would watch out for Wilson if he goes at 2% ownership. Leading rookie rusher, leading rushing TDs, got so much talent. Hey, look, I'm happy with the Jaden experience. I would like him to like put up a number. Like I would like him to put up a Lamar game. Would really be my dream for him. But obviously, you get what you get. Let me go over the solver next. Let me just make sure I'm logged in so it doesn't do anything stupid over here. Juwan Johnson. I think he's an okay play. He's projected for 5.8% ownership, $3,300 salary. It's hard for me to trust Juwan Johnson just because of the fact he really has found ways to disappoint over and over again, but he does gain an appeal. Look, I think it's possible that you could get, I took the over on Carr's passing yards. Carr as a stack feels kind of thin. It's not a good defense they're going against. They still have only a 3.5 point dog at home, 21.5 point implied total. And with Kamara being chalk, if you were to play Cedric Wilson or Tipton or MVS, if you really wanted to, with Juwan Johnson, I think you're certainly getting unique because people are going to play Taysom a decent amount and people are going to play Kamara absolutely out the ass. Let's look at the unencumbered crunch here, though, on the solver here. Let me update the sticker as well. Solver, really do check it out. As I've mentioned a few times here, a lot of conversions for stochastic come from this channel. For the solver, not as many, and I'd love you guys to check out the solver because it is a really fun tool. I'm actually going to play with it for NBA today and do something different where I'm going to create my own contest pool for NBA and put that into the stochastics in. But for the solver, the control you have here of building lineups here, if you wanted to lock in Brock Purdy, lock in Aaron Jones, lock in one player, and to see what those lineups would look like, you do that more. And they also have a hand build engine for simulations too. It's a really good product. So please check it out if you can. Anyway, your cash game lineup as of 11:26 a.m. on the East Coast on a Friday would be this one right here. Highest projected lineup is Brock Purdy, Aaron Jones, Breece Hall, Deebo Samuel, Josh Downs, DeAndre Hopkins. So he is still well projected here by ETR's data. Taysom Hill at tight end, Zach Ertz double tight end, and Bears. Are we getting a lot of double tight end? This one, number 2, is not a similar lineup. Sterling Shepard, though, might not be in it by the time that things go off. But James Conner in the flex in this one. Getting a good amount of double tight end. Cade Otton and Taysom, Taysom and Disley, Taysom and Hunter Henry, Taysom and Juwan Johnson. That's a funny little one. Cade Otton and Taysom, Kelsey and Hill. I don't know why I said Hill that time. And Taysom, Kittle and Taysom, Taysom and Disley, Kittle and Taysom, Taysom and Connor, Taysom and Breece. So you're getting a little more RBs towards the bottom here, but you're definitely getting a lot of double tight end. So just something to keep in mind here. Double tight end seemingly in play based on the ETR data. You're also getting 100% Aaron Jones in lineup, so he does look like the best projected play. He's also going to be the chalkiest play potentially on the slate. So keep that balance in mind here. Best plays become the chalkiest plays on paper. And then if you want to pivot around it here, you note you're not getting Justin Jefferson really. It does not seem like projection-wise ETR wants you to pay up for him. Let's see. Do they have Sims ready to go? They do. So let's build some lineups here with optimizations boosts on for these things. So we're going to make stacks more appealing for the optimizer. We're also going to turn on the variants, and let's build 250 and sim those. Let's see what we get here. And guys, if you appreciate this content, again, my goal here is just to show you how to use these products and what it looks like to use them and get the kind of findings from there. Where obviously I encourage you guys to pay for them if you can. If you can't, though, just kind of get the takeaways with me here on stream. And of course, do these streams Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. besides Wednesdays, because that's my day-to-day. NBA as well on the Splashplay NBA channel, 4 p.m. every day. So please do subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment, and make sure to join down below like all these fine people who've joined lately. It does support the show directly here to try to make a viable business out of just gambling. Just, wee-ha. And not the way, too, that people make a lot of viable business off of gambling, like shaking their titties around while walking. That's I don't have that as an option for myself. I guess I do. Given how much McDonald's I ate yesterday, but I don't wish to. Free bankroll track with a solver tool. That's pretty cool. Certainly helps you out if you need to watch out for that. Saints were down so many pass catchers. They were using Moreau as a wide receiver. I think Juwan will see a lot of routes. I think he'll see a lot of routes. It's just the targets per route run is not killing it. Walking DFS plays can't wait. Yeah, I wish I get those views that she got. I'd rug pull the shit out of all you on my NFT. No, I can't imagine doing that. I wouldn't want to do an NFT. I don't want to do the work on that. And I don't like those NFT people. More like, tell you what, though, NFT for her. No, not fuckable titties? No, that's not. That would be accurate. No, comma, fuckable titties. That would be her NFT. Oh, there we go. More like NFT. That's also fine. We're all workshopping things here on a Friday. Also, Splash Play NBA today. I'm going to drink a beer on the stream. That's what I decided. Friday's going to be beer day. I go and get a beer, and I look really cool. And you guys are all like, whoa, this guy drinks beers on stream while he's doing such great content. That's pretty sick. That guy's pretty badass. That's what we're hoping. Nom nom funs. Yeah, nom nom fun tits would also work. All right. Let's see what we get in the top lineups via the solver. Look at stochastics as well, of course, coming up after this. It won't always just be fucking Taylor Mathis breast-related NFC jokes. Brock Purdy, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Deebo Samuel, Sterling Shepard. They really like Sterling Shepard. The solver sim is going to be bummed to find out if he does not play. Tyler Boyd, who has been not great so far, but he does keep projecting decently. Taysom Hill, Saquon Barkley, Patriots. Tyler is still going off in the chat. I respect the commitment. This lineup does not do a lot for me, but the solver knows what it's doing. Keep that in mind. Sam Darnold, your number 2 ROI lineup QB. Will you expand for me? Here we go. Sam Darnold, Bijan Robinson, DeAndre Swift, Josh Downs, Noah Brown, the pivot. It's my precious Terry McLaurin. Justin Jefferson, you're not getting enough Aaron Jones. The irony is that people in Battle Royale is going to get so much Jefferson. People on DraftKings going to get so much Aaron Jones. Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson. So the double Saints tight end coming in your number 2 ROI lineup. Bears D as well. Number 3 ROI, Mahomes, Aaron Jones, Brees, and Wilson. Noah Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce, Patriots D. A double stack with Mahomes? Because he put up, he put up 25 last week. Let's double stack Mahomes. No, thank you. Aaron Rodgers, though, people who want the AR lineups, the real AR, the only starting AR, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Brees Hall, Josh Downs, DeAndre Hopkins, Noah Brown, Taysom Hill, Garrett Wilson, and Bears D. Here's Purdy again. Purdy with a Debo Kittle double. Aaron Jones, Brees Hall, Drake London, Sterling Shepard, Will Dissly, Pats D. Derek Carr. I think a Derek Carr stack is a fun concept just because, number one, Michael Thomas has bashed the shit out of him on Twitter, saying that basically he's getting everybody fired, getting people hurt. I'm sure Derek Carr is aware of that. Number two, it's like a really consolidated target share for whatever you're doing with Carr, whether it be using Kamara or not. If you don't use Kamara, you're also going to get great leverage against Kamara. So Atlanta's defense also sucks. Granted, the Saints are also shitty, but new coach bump too. Frankly, they can't get worse. So you got some dead cat bounce narrative. Every cliche is in play for the Saints this week. So Derek Carr with Juwan Johnson. Maybe the stacks aren't dead for me. Can he put up a Jamar Chase game? I think that would really help out. But Derek Carr, anyway, fun lineup, I think, there. And you are getting a lot of Juwan Johnson, a lot of Taysom Hill. You get Olave destroyed many times, but Olave also gets himself destroyed too. I don't know. I get he's putting up hospital balls sometimes, but Olave got a concussion at OSU too. Like, it's not like he's only getting concussions in the NFL. Not like Team Derek Carr or anything, but it's like, it's Olave getting concussed. He didn't get Shaheed concussed. So at what point do we blame the player a little bit? Not the QB. He's just controlling the narrative right now. That goddamn Michael Thomas controlling the narrative. Anyway, these are your top lineups here. I don't think anything else that fun. Baker Mayfield down here with Sterling Shepard, though. But again, the Shepard line is probably not valid. Mayfield, Aaron Jones, Brees Hall, Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce, Taysom Hill, Titans. These are not pretty lineups. I will say that. The slate's not pretty. These lineups aren't pretty. It's not fun. Let's try to pretend it is, though. Let's go to these stochastic sims here. Probably 33% to first, as always here. Let's see what we can do in the contest generator. Probably build that first. 10,000 lineups on stochastic, and let's see what we get on here. Michael Thomas really working hard to get back in the field. It sounds like he's got Twitter fingers now. His fingers are in shape. His thumbs are crushing it. Played the single entry huddle, scored 179 points, and won a total of $5. Let's go scored. Yeah, the top lineups yesterday, because Jamar Chase put up 90 points almost in the flex. One of the greatest, or in the captain spot rather, one of the greatest fantasy performances ever. I think he's got a lot of fun stats where he's like, I think the only receiver, maybe besides Jerry Rice, who's had multiple games over 55 fantasy points. It's just been a Jamar Chase onslaught. So right now, if you're looking at kind of what the chalk is heading into, what I'd say expected at least as of week 10, the chalk is advancing into the playoffs. Jamar Chase, Saquon, Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry didn't kill you yesterday, but didn't help you out. So we'll see how that holds up. Those three for sure have to be amongst the highest advance rate guys. All right, so here's our lineups. Let's simulate them. 35% to first. Contest sim. I'm actually not sure if it's 35, but I've been putting 35 for everything because so many tournaments lately are very, very top heavy on DraftKings. Sammy loves all you weirdos. Got to rewatch. Peace out, Squirt Nation. Thank you, Sammy, for popping in. Appreciate you spending some time here as always. Of course, I do appreciate all of you guys hanging out here. And if you appreciate this content, again, subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. I'm just one person now running 2 YouTube channels, preparing data for 2 sports. It's honestly been really satisfying. So allow me to keep doing that here by subscribing down below, hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and of course, joining down below if you can. And that includes get some VIP perks, VIP Discord, which we're chatting up in all the time now. A premium video coming up after this one where I go game by game looking at the advanced analytics, stuff I pull from Sports Info Solutions along with football, pro football reference, some fantasy points data stuff. But that's what I look at after this one. And of course, you get my data sheet as well that I show you. You get to look at peruse yourself. How's how people win money. So it's definitely a little beautiful mindy, but you'll get it. Wan'Dale Robinson better than Jamar Chase. Yep, that's how the scores are looking right now. Top heavy DraftKings contest, so a bunch of Taylor Mathises. Yeah, the Taylor Mathis contest. They can topple over at any time. Though I'd say, based on what the internet has shown me, she's really pushing him up, it seems. Really, more power to her. But she's really pushing him up. Just like hoisting. These are like fucking theater curtains. Just pulling. But anyway, she had no OnlyFans, guys, if you weren't aware. I'll just say it. Somebody has to be brave enough too. This is taking too long. You can tell when we start talking about things like that, the sim is just taking a little bit too long. You got to compile the results. Got to count every ballot here. That's what the sim is doing. All right, your top ROI lineups as of right now. Kirk Cousins, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, George Pickens, Drake London, Ray McLeod, Kyle Pitts, Will Dissly, Bears. You are getting a Falcons triple with an Alvin Kamara bringback. Your number 2 ROI lineup is Sam Darnold, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Juwan Jennings, Trey Palmer, Dalton Kincaid, Juwan Johnson, and Saints. So a Darnold double there, including the RB. And, of course, Jefferson, who I do believe will be a little bit underplayed because he's too scary of a price tag. Number 3 ROI lineup is Kirk Cousins, Aaron Jones, James Conner, Drake London, Khalil Shakir, Demario Douglas, a.k.a. Pop, as his friends and I call him, Kyle Pitts, Trey McBride, Patriots D. Really expecting New Orleans, like if you're going to put Kirk in, you got to expect New Orleans to be doing stuff on the way back. So I would have a hard time. I guess the ceiling might not be that high for New Orleans. But like really, Atlanta is only going to put up enough of a ceiling for Kirk unless they're like really getting pushed. Otherwise, it's going to be Bijan Bijan and Algier kind of doing their thing. Russell Wilson, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, George Pickens, Ladd McConkey, Juwan Jennings, Travis Kelce, Pat Freiermuth, and Chiefs. It's your number 4 ROI lineup. And number 5 is another Kirk. So what is that? 3 out of the top 5 are Kirk Cousins lineups right now. Cousins, Bijan, Aaron Jones, Drake London, Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Kyle Pitts, Will Dissly, and Bears D. I don't know if I want to play Kirk without a bring back. I'm not sure about that. We got top ROI lineups right now, or top ROI players, excuse me. Will Dissly, a 14% ROI on his current 9.7 fantasy points. Ben Sinnott, what? What? Hey, Ben Sinnott's been so long. It's like seeing an old friend, seeing he's doing well. Oh, Ben Sinnott, you're looking fit. You're looking trim. Great tan on Ben Sinnott. 13% ROI at a minimum salary. He did play some snaps last week. I think it was up to 20 or something. I don't think he should be a play. I don't think he should be a play. But yeah, look, hey, Sinnott sighting. This is great. Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben, good to see you, man. How are the kids, Ben? How's it been? Ben Sinnott. Wow. Talk about a throwback. Though the second Zach Ertz is gone, Ben Sinnott's popping off, man. The Ben Sinnott train is not dead. We'll see how that goes. Is someone hurt? No. I mean, it's just, I think Sinnott, I'll do the snap count real fast because I looked it up before, so I know kind of where it is. Ertz's snaps were down last week. Ertz was down to 30 snaps. Sinnott played 24. And then John Bates played 32. Fuck you, John Bates. John Bates is really the biggest blocker here. But yeah, Bates played more than Ertz last week, so that's it. Spags, take the shirt off for the boys. How are we transitioning to that? What was that? You're getting white. White's enough. Is that the first fullback the sim? Get out of town. Speaking of sexy piece of ass, I'd love to bury my face in Ayo Sinnott. Okay, thank you. Trey Palmer, top ROI as well, 12%. So Trey Palmer, again, going to benefit a lot of Shepard's out in particular. At a certain point, they have to use Trey Palmer again. I think we're clearly nearing that point soon. Because if Shepard's out and McMillan as well, Palmer, Miller, and Rakim Jarrett are probably your top 3 there. And obviously, in addition to Otten. Trey Palmer probably has to play better out there because like he's actually had a rapport with Baker. I think it matters a lot. That I can see why Trey Palmer can get there, but you need Shepard to be out. Juwan Johnson, 11% ROI. Pat's D at 10% ROI gets going against Caleb. It's going to be the thing there. Eckler, 6% ROI. Though I do think currently Stochastic has Brian Robinson out. Robinson's been limited in practice, so I think he's getting closer to going, but we'll see how that goes. If Robinson were out, Eckler's going to look good. Obviously, if Robinson were in, that could be a much worse play, or at least, a tournament play at best. Josh Downs, a 5% ROI, 5.4%. Aaron Jones, 5.3, despite these guys being chalk. Pickens, 4.4. I agree. I think that Pickens, McLaurin, Jaden, even Russ, McLaurin, Pickens can work. Hunter Henry, 2.5%. Drake London, 1.6%. And Cardinals, D, 1.2%. Juwan Jennings were last. Positive ROI guy, 0.7%. Kendrick, I feel like I spoke very highly of you on one of the streams lately, but shout out Kendrick here. And the chat's unhinged. I don't think the chat's unhinged. Besides this one, I know Spencer coming in with that one. Spencer's not a regular, but I appreciate the premise. Nobody with a positive ROI and QB plus 1 stacks. Russell Wilson, the closest at negative 7%. Even Jade, negative 10%. So I disagree, Sim, which always works out so well for me. QB plus 2 stacks. Highest ROI is Justin Herbert. Just don't think they have to pass that much against Tennessee. A 10% for Darnold in the QB plus 2. Baker Mayfield, 9%. Russell Wilson, 8.3%. Jaden Daniels, 3.2%. Caleb Williams, 0.5%. Everybody else a negative ROI. QB plus 3 stacks. Cousins, high ROI at 35%. Russell Wilson, very high as well at 32%. Trevor Lawrence, 26%. They have not adjusted for him being out yet. Baker Mayfield, 21%. Sam Darnold, 12%. And Josh Allen, 2%. Justin Herbert, 0.6%. Tell you what, if you're playing a Herbert stack, I would play a Tennessee bringback. I'd play Ridley. I'd play, I guess, Pollard with his stupid gimpy foot. That's that. And Tyler, shout out Tyler for gifting a membership. It looks like our guy Shannon got it. Shannon, of course, one of the regulars. So I'm glad to see you get a membership. And now, Shannon, keep it forever is what Tyler has given you a gift. And now you must cling on to it like herpes. Real fast, just for me. I don't look up all the QBs on Sunday, of course, at 9 a.m. when we do the final takes video. What's the Jaden stack look like? Jaden, QB plus 2. Jaden with Kamara, Swift, Pickens, Brian Thomas Jr., Noah Brown. Noah Brown, by the way, apparently one of the highest pass interference yards guys in the year, so maybe he's due for something. Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz, Jaguars. I don't want to Noah Brown, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz getting less snaps, too. I don't know that I really want that. When he's going the wrong way, finally. All right, there's my Jaden stacks. Just got to show it here. Got to show Jaden. But yeah, Sunday we'll go QB by QB. We're running a little bit low on time here. Let's do a hand build. Let's see how it looks. Hand build coming up here before we do the Battle Royale and the Pick'em Slip. And let's go with this one. How often do you find the Sims forcing bringbacks, or do you get set rules for that? You don't set rules in the Sims. They just kind of happen naturally. But they happen a decent amount. I don't know a percentage. It's honestly been a little bit less in general overall this year. I'm looking at the screen over here right now, and it's like 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 1 out of the next 10. It's looking like 10 to 15% bringbacks. You could force more on the sim, I guess, if you wanted, but most people, at least that I know, Stochastic don't adjust the default settings. All right, so let's try to build a lineup here. I mean, I do think Jefferson's a strong play this week, especially with Jamar Chase putting up the big week. Like, Jefferson's been really quiet. The issue is that for this game, like, Jamar Chase hit that ceiling because he needed to get every single point of it. For Jacksonville, I don't know that you need to get every single yard, every single point against them. So that's what I worry about with Jefferson. Do love him as a play in a week where receiver is dog shit. Man, I like Jefferson. You know what? I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to build some Spags bullshit. Jaden Daniels at QB is what I'm going to build. We got, besides that, let's run the gang back together. I just want to see how this is going to perform. Again, I really think this week with nobody on it, I have to believe that Washington pressed things a little bit more. They keep coasting every week, and this is really a frustrating thing for me as somebody who also likes to coast as much as possible and get the maximum results for the least amount of effort. It's my goal with pretty much anything I do in life. That said, the Commanders have to have a ceiling that goes higher, and I think they can have in this game. So to me, Pickens, I think, in play. I honestly wouldn't mind putting Najee in this lineup, just trying to play a game stack of this one because the total is not bad right now. You got Pittsburgh getting, not Kyle Pitts, Pittsburgh getting 21 implied, Washington 24 implied. Like, it's high enough that there is a chance it could go higher. It's also low enough that, like, people aren't going to be on it too much. I know people in the chat are going to go like, oh, it's going to be a defense-heavy matchup. But when you have great players playing good defenses, great players still win out. I believe that's what we're going to get from Washington. So I believe in this being a core part of what I'm going to do in some things this week. Not everything, but there's a lot of other great plays on the slate as well. I'm just going to take a shot again at Washington, Pittsburgh, because God for fucking bid, there is a week where a Jaden Clean McLaurin stack hits and wins all the money, and I'm not there. I'm sure I'll be happy in best ball, but I want to fucking get, I want to get the goddamn DFS payout as well. Jaden bias meter is at an all-time high. It's not a bias meter though. The markets now support me on it. I was just ahead of the markets, and I continue to ride with them. But I'm still going to hand build a lineup I want to build. Ultimately, I'm not trying to build like the highest projected lineup here. I'm trying to build one that's I think has an angle. And maybe just the weekly Jaden lineup build. That's also a fair way to look at it. All right, RBs. I do think Dobbins gets us leverage against all of the Tennessee not getting there kind of pass game stuff. I know the Chargers are passing more, but Dobbins is still playing pretty well. He's honestly looking better than I would have thought possible with his injury accumulation in the past as the season goes on. So I will go Dobbins here. Gus Edwards is close to coming back in. I don't know if he's going to play this week. I forget how that's looking right now. Because I think he was back in his practice window was activated. I imagine he probably won't play this week. So one more week of pure Dobbins before Gus comes back in and ruins it would be my guess. We didn't play Jefferson, so I do think we kind of need to consider Aaron Jones. There's anybody cheaper I could go to, though. One of Swift and Ramondre hitting feels pretty likely depending upon who wins that game. If Chicago's ahead, Swift, they're going to probably not want to put Caleb in a bunch of risk. So I think Swift can play well. If the Patriots D just gets going against Caleb again, the Patriots D has not been good. Let me see if the numbers have moved at all. Yeah, Patriots D giving up 0.11 EPA per dropback, 0.12 EPA per pass. These are the kind of matchups, 0.2 EPA in the red zone. These soft EPA matchups have been the ones that Caleb has actually succeeded in. So I'm not going to go Ramondre here, even though the thought of pairing him with the Patriots D is like a pretty nice, cheap little option. Let's just see what we can do with Aaron Jones. I do like Aaron Jones as a play, and I'll give that a shot. All right. I think now we're in the range of headless Saints stuff. Let's see what we can do. All right. Cedric Wilson, if he plays, I think he's the best Saints receiver left. I wish he were a little bit cheaper. Tipton's not that cheap either. He's like 55, right? Or 45. Tipton. All right. I'm going to go Sed. I'm thinking headless Derek Carr stack. Juwan, are you going to save me some money here? Probably shouldn't type Jew. Even if it's spelled incorrectly. Maybe I should, given how popularity works these days. Let's go DST next. Let's see what we can pay down for here. Broncos D getting to the Chiefs. Patriots D. I mean, we didn't make a bet on Caleb anywhere. So Patriots D would be fine in this kind of build. Let's do that. Maybe Caleb could still have a good game, but Patriots D, special teams, touchdown, defensive touchdown, something like that. Because it's 4,100 at tight end. So at least we're getting away from Chalk Disley. Oh, sorry, we were at the flex. 4,100 at the flex. Sterling Shepard, Mike Williams, Gainwell. Yeah, we can go to Taysom here. We could do the double. So we can do 3 Saints players, fully fade Kamara. This feels like a fucking insane lineup. Trey Palmer, I'm not opposed to either. Troy Franklin, at some point, Bo Nix has to hit him on one of those 50-yard TDs he's wide open for. All right, you know what? 3 Saints. The Saints are just a little bit too cheap. I am pretty confident to play some Derek Carr stacks this week. Sims might hate it. I'm not beholden to them. It still wins 0.5% of the time. Fuck them. Let's see what we do instead. I mean, they're probably not going to like the McLaurin part, I think. His projection's too low. But I'm not here to please Sims. I'm going to put in Trey Palmer to see what that would look like. He's really the one name here that kind of tempted me. But I'm building a team that makes me happy, and that's this team here with Jaden Daniels, J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Terry McLaurin. I got worse. George Pickens, Cedric Wilson, Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill is what I had before, and Patriots D. And if I wanted to build something to make the Sims happy, I'd build some Kirk Cousins bullshit that I don't really believe in. But for me, this one, it's a Jaden lineup. All right, time to go to Underdog now. Let's fucking do this shit. Let's not look at my awful advance rates in Best Ball Mania. I know I had to refresh her. Like I had to put in some money yesterday. And I'm like, why is it not showing? All right, Battle Royale time. Shout out Charles for the $7 here earlier. So that we'll give him credit for this one, even though YouTube's taken half the entry fee. The Battle Royales this week. What is the prize money? It's 40K again. 40K to first, 20K to second, 10K to third. Again, if you're going to watch any content in the industry about Battle Royales, Pete's video at 4:30, Davis's video on his channel with Brick and Nerdy Tenor. Those two would be great. Badge Bros also do a great job every day, but they don't have like specific things that I would say you have to go to your way for. Just to talk about it intelligently every day. But there is good Battle Royale content right now if you want to get better at it. So that's what I would try to say. Main thing that all the good Battle Royale content will tell you is it's important to try to build stuff that's got unique texture to it. So that could mean scrolling down, but it also could just mean like, oh, Saquon Barkley fell to me at number 5. I have to scoop Saquon here because Saquon's normally going 1, 2, 3 at the max. As a result, you're getting yourself more unique here by whatever you pair him with at this spot. Similarly, if I were to draft at number 5, so let's say I get Bijan, I get Breece Hall, I'm more than likely going to take Garrett Wilson, maybe Kittle. If you scroll down more for that second pick or you skip a value of that second pick, it's another way to get unique. So it's kind of the main thing I've been trying to extrapolate from these videos or have been extrapolating here. There's a lot more nuance to it, though. I'm still not all the way there because, frankly, I'm not getting down enough volume because I'm still rebuilding everything after spending so much money. I'm probably for the last year. But that's, try to learn as much about this as possible. So it does seem like a beatable format. Thank you, Spencer. Pete takes his shirt off. Good show to watch. He doesn't do it every week, to be clear. Big fan of making the last 2 picks both undrafted / less drafted in such a large field. Yeah, I think you're still scrolling down. I would still think that the most important thing, though, is what Brick and Nerdy seem to talk about the most, which is that, like, it's still mostly about that first stretch of things where, you take Jefferson over Barkley in the first spot because everybody's taking Barkley 101. I think that logic prevails for me. All right, so we get to scoop a little bit of value on Kamara, which I'm okay with here. I am sure Kamara falls enough times, but still he's got a 3.9 ADP. He's normally going to the 3 spot, the 4 spot. And Nerdy Tenor, I believe, had him number 2 overall this week. So, again, this is somebody else's info, not mine. But Nerdy Tenor, I think, is one of the sharpest guys in the space. So I'll give him the full credit for that. All right, Garrett Wilson goes. Receiver is pretty ugly. We can just go down later at receiver. Jalen Hurts. We could try to get leverage on Saquon. Do you believe Hurts was good according to Nerdy Tenor as well? I'm going to go with Hurts here. Think the fact that we're normally getting Kamara over here, you're maybe not getting these combos as much. So we'll see what we get here. Love listening to Nerdy Tenor, except he makes me feel dumb about DFS. Yeah, when you hear him talk about stuff and also just the things that he's built out, the code he's built out, it's really a pretty stark comparison overall to like just what you can do as a human being. Even compared to some of the great tools, like people win a lot with Stochastic, people win a lot with the Solver as well, with ETR's product. Really would recommend those from my perspective. But whatever Nerdy Tenor's got built, like it's so customized for him, and obviously he does fantastically with it. He was also, I think he was definitely up top for a lot of the showdown the other day. Not sure if he finished up top though. Didn't the shirt come off on the Drunken Spags randomizer show? I don't think I've ever taken my shirt off on stream. I wouldn't do that. I'm not built for that. Pete did. Pete took his shirt off on that one. Yeah. If you want to go back and see Pete be topless, yes, we did get him shirtless on the randomizer we did together. And then I was like, it's so hard to not lick my screen. All right, taking this all X-ray, all X day ray, whatever. Who fucking cares? Let's go, man. People bleeding the clock out. All right, Q-Tag AJ Brown gets sniped by fucking Charles in the chat. Unbelievable. We're going to go naked Jalen, I guess, then, potentially. Kate Otten aligning an ADP. Honestly, CeeDee Lamb at a discount. He's going to go. If Cooper Rush does anything useful. I don't want this to be the process, but fine, whatever. It's still fucking dick move. But I don't care as much in battle royales. It probably's got me more unique because I'm sure Hurts and AJ Brown is going to have a good clip. So I'll go Hurts and CeeDee Lamb instead. No, I think I'm just going to go unstacked with it. I'll just say that Jalen Hurts runs for 4 touchdowns here. I can live with that bet. Kate Otten hanging around. I mean, really, they really have nobody else to throw it to. I can still scroll down for the last 2 here. I'm just going to go Kate Otten. So team so far, Jalen Hurts, Alvin Kamara, CeeDee Lamb, Kate Otten. Correlated here through Hurts and CeeDee Lamb. Again, I think people will mostly take AJ Brown here. If I had to guess, the Jalen Hurts Oppo receiver combo doesn't get picked that often. So I'm trying to think creatively about the stuff because, again, I've been watching a lot of this content, trying to understand where the flaw in my process is, because I've had some okay finishing lineups, but nothing crushing like that. Get the nice protected onesie to hit value. Scroll for the last 2. Love the pick so far. All right, I appreciate it, Tyler. I could use the extra hand of the wheel here because I definitely look, if a Jaden McLaurin stack were to hit in a battle royale, I'd do great. Otherwise, I need to think a little more creatively about my approach without also like killing my projection, killing my EV so much. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it. That's what friends do. That's what friends do. I don't know how to drive a manual transmission, so I need somebody's hand on a stick shift. All right, what do we got in the lower ADPs here? Marvin Harrison, Lad McConkey, who we do know is going to be chalk in some formats out there. I don't really buy the play, but I think it could hit. Amari Cooper, going to benefit from no Keon Coleman out there to some extent, assuming he can play. DJ Moore, get well spot for Chicago. Mooney, nice correlated play. Shakir without Cooper, nice. Addison, boom spot. I was looking at Addison. The issue for Addison is like he really does not get the same work he got last year. Like him getting a touchdown, I could make a bet on. Him putting up 100 yards and getting 2 touchdowns, he just doesn't get that work enough, I don't think. But I do like the ADP on him. I think DJ Moore appeals to me the most, but I don't want fucking Charles to take him. Ridley, I wouldn't mind either. 35.8 ADP on him. McLaurin finally goes, so that's not going to be a temptation. Yeah, I get more, and the Bears are broken. Oh, Dunze, I mean, maybe there's a pathway there. Bears wide receivers will disappoint. It's possible. Just it's tough because sometimes you can get that. I think you can get that outcome right sometimes. Like the Keenan Allen 2 touchdown day. All right. Dobbins I do like, but that's not really a scroll down pick. Though honestly, is Dobbins more of a scroll down now because all the RBs go so early? He might be. I am going to play with my gut here and get Dobbins on this one. I think with the last scroll down here, I'll be a little bit more unique. But I don't know that I need to get leverage on anything here because McConkey's not getting drafted. But I still think overall, I think this is a game where the Chargers run the shit out of the ball against Tennessee. So I'm okay making that bet here. The last one, though, I will be getting a little bit lower on. I think it's DJ Moore for me as an unknown guy, just having that pure ceiling. The narrative going against him so hard that maybe it spins back aggressively the other way would be my hope. Correlation-wise, Mooney would still be an okay play. But if London's back, Mooney's ceiling comes down a little bit in a competitive game. I'm going to go DJ Moore. So final team here. Going to get this much of a ceiling at an undrafted ADP, I think is noteworthy. Jalen Hurts, Alvin Kamara, J.K. Dobbins, CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Kate Otten. So we tried to not be as matchy correlation-wise. Still did pair Jalen Hurts to the bring back CeeDee Lamb, who we hope can beat out A.J. Brown. I think we made some logical picks here, even though That was an abstract route to do it. Thanks to fucking Charles in the chat. Charles in charge of my fucking Underdog Battle Royale team, the one I'm going to be doing. London may be dinged up. Hip sometimes impacts players. Dinged up, but out there. I still think he gets some work. Pitts being hurt, like if Pitts and London are both out, Mooney probably gains a lot of value. So I could see why Tyler would say that. It's not crazy about Mooney after like the week after he goes off. I feel like that kind of lends itself to the least appealing Mooney congregation of ownership the next week. But that's my gut. That's probably not the best way to approach a battle royale. Anyway, pick 'em time. So my big bets on the week. What would be one of them? Well, one of them in the fantasy points prop column, which I do often pair things with, I did take an over on his passing yards. Passing plus rushing a little bit more appealing here as a higher. I would do higher on 270.5 passing plus rushing. So the first thing here about Jaden, which I did mention before, but I'll mention now, part of why I'm really bullish on him this week. Jaden's got the most scrambles against single high safety coverage by a wide margin. He's got 30 on the year. Number 2 was, I should look this up real fast because it was actually kind of interesting. Number 2 was 30. I think Bo Nix. Trying to read a column because I wrote this up yesterday and had it in there. Scramble. I'm going to get this right. Bo Nix. I thought it was Bo Nix. Bo Nix number 2 at 19. So with Bo Nix being playing more games and Jaden also missing a game and really functionally missing, missing a game. Yeah, you got it, Bo Nix. Or by Nix if you want to be right about that. So Jaden Daniels running enough here, but also the running should set up the passing. I think it's a good spot for Jaden. No, because I think he does both. I think it's a competitive game that he's got to pass more, and also he's going to run more to kind of create the ability to get those downfield plays. So, backdoor by Nix. I like the combo of both. Obviously, just rushing would be okay. 43.5 rushing. But the prop that I had, I think, this week, though, was a passing one. Yeah, it's like about 250 plus, which is plus 190 on DraftKings. Here for his passing, what would be the equivalent here? So dumb you have to hit down to make it go higher. So you get 1.49x to 249.5. I think that's similar odds, basically. I like Jaden's lines. Again, I think this is a competitive game. I think it's one where he gets pushed to his limit, which is really the main thing that's been holding Washington back every fucking week, that as I know from watching more Washington than anybody who's not in the DMV. Besides that this week, who else do I like the most in terms of my DFS plays? Aaron Jones is probably one of them. See what markets we have here. 71.5 rushing, 15.5 longest rush. I think both are viable enough. I think he gets over 100, though, so I'd actually go higher on this. Yeah, I'll go higher to get the 2.3 or 2.2x value on this one. Higher on 99.5 for Aaron Jones would be my selection on this one. Again, just a matchup against Jacksonville. Jacksonville can't do anything. It's not going to get better with Mac Jones, so that's how that's looking for me right now. You guys, if you're waiting around here, stay tuned. Premium video coming after this one. Of course, we'll go game by game. I took a little bit longer on this than I probably should have. Who else is a priority play? Saquon, unfortunately. Even though I took Hurts in that last draft, this is such a pristine Saquon spot. Saquon dominating in terms of yards before contact. He's gotten ahead of Derrick Henry in that metric, which fantasy points data tracks. I would go the higher, 91.5 rushing yards for him. I also took him 2+ touchdowns. I mentioned earlier was at plus 255. I think he's a good bet for that too. So Saquon this week. I would cram him in anything. Dallas just does not have the dogs, really. Even if for tournaments, you play them having the dogs here. I do think Saquon at this point is a good bet. And it's emotional hedging. And at this point, hedging against the money that I've lost from BBM. What else can we look at here that I feel pretty strongly about? Buffalo against the Colts, I feel strongly about, but I know there's one beneficiary I'd want to go to. Alvin Kamara, let's see what we have for him. Again, for DFS, willing to get weird with it. For that workload that he got against Carolina, the way he doesn't get the workload is they get blown out. And I don't know that Atlanta's going to blow him out. I don't think Atlanta's going to put the pedal to the metal unless they have to. So I would go Kamara higher on 112.5 here. I'm not going to try to spice that up anymore. Easy line for him to hit with the pass game work he should get more of. The run game work, Atlanta also not good defending that. on the year, giving up 0.03 EPA per rush, which is not good. 0.06 EPA per pass, 0.05 EPA per dropback. They're bad at everything. So defensively for Atlanta, I think Kamara can get there again in a similar pathway to what he got against Carolina. Kamara is such an interesting player, man, where like you give him these bad matchups and he's going to eat, and also the crush of volume. But he had those down weeks for a while. And like, I wonder if there's another run here of him having down games, because right now it feels like he's one of the best scenarios in football just to get a PPR scam going. But if they start getting blown out, that's where things can maybe get a little bit weird for him. What else am I betting on this week? I mean, we did take the Jaden part of it. What do we have for McLaurin? I'd probably rather go Pickens over McLaurin for a prop kind of thing. Pickens, I think, has to get some shots downfield this week. Longest reception being in play, sure. Receiving yards in play. The issue that a lot of QBs have against Washington is that the pocket collapses so fast, and sometimes it is a really weird analogy, but it's like quicksand. Like the QB just kind of gets engulfed, and it's like the pocket slowly just kind of constricts. Like the Madden kind of training modes things is how it feels a lot watching the Commanders D operate. For Russell Wilson, though, he can break that pocket. He can get outside and do that, kind of like Lamar did, and still find ways to have success. So, and that's obviously not the exact same comp there with Lamar and Russell Wilson, but those two still have similar abilities to kind of escape those tight situations and make something happen. If he does make something happen, I think it's the Pickens. The one concern would be Mike Williams. If he gets any routes, maybe does make Pickens lose something downfield. They don't take a ton of deep shots, but I do like overall George Pickens this week. So my final pick him here, which unfortunately I will not be able to place in Pennsylvania, but I still try to build it as though I can. Jaden Daniels, 270.5. Passing plus rushing yards higher. Of course, all hires here on Splash Play. Unless it's a player we don't like. Aaron Jones, we got higher 99.5 rushing yards, 2.2x value on that one. Saquon Barkley, higher on 91.5 rushing yards. Again, a game against Dallas that should be a really cozy, safe win for the Eagles here, you would think. Alvin Kamara, higher on 112.5 rushing and receiving yards. Was Roman Wilson not good, or is there some injury? He was injured, but he's also not good. Made Hunter Henry running it back with Swift. Meh. It's okay. Pickens higher on 64.5 receiving yards. That is the pick'em card here. 44.6x value, and we'll do the ceremonial thing where I try to play it. We'll try to win my sweet $223, and they will not allow me to do it in Pennsylvania because they insist upon oppressing me. Josh Shapiro, fix that. Anyway, that's it for the slate, guys. So coming up next, premium video, going game by game there. So another hour with me, hang out with that one. You'll be automatically redirected there. So if you want to watch that content, join down below for $4.99. Also with that, you get a VIP Discord and my data sheet, which is updated with a whole bunch of different data points. The exact thing I look at to kind of get my takes. You have that as a thing for you as well that comes out for me on Saturdays. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod on the Splash Play NBA channel at 4 p.m. today. So if you're playing some NBA, it's an $8 tournament with 100K up top on DraftKings. I'll be there doing that slate as well. Of course, look at some unabated stuff too. Their prop markets, stochastic sims, my own projections as well, which are fantastic for NBA, as hopefully enough people can attest now. You'll see them later today at 4 p.m. So I'll see you guys then. Enjoy your days, and back Sunday at 9 a.m. as well for the final takes video. So come back for that. Gamble responsibly, even though it's always money time. And thank you as well to all the fine folks who joined. It's been updated. So if you're no longer a member, back and forth, guys. See you then. Enjoy your days. Good luck. And of course, premium stream coming up next. See you there. Bye-bye.